So you want to get into bridges. As a retired bedwars sweat turned into bridge main with 2 accounts that are bridge legend, basically grandmaster, I think I can help you out. But before we get into the meat of this video, I want to clarify that this video is for new bridge players, casual. So if you play stuff like bridge scrims, get out of here. I may make another video in the future based on the competitive side of bridges, depending on how this video does. I also don't want to dive into that yet because I myself am still learning. Alright, here we go. This may seem like a no-brainer, but you would be surprised, or maybe not, on how many games I queue where people don't take advantage of this strategy. So what is pre-gapping? Well, if you must know, kinda in the name, but pre-gapping is simply gapping before the round starts. This is something you should do at the very start of the round before the cages drop. There's a 3-second grace period where there's nothing else to do except for, if you do this, there's a special place for you in it. I mean, I personally don't do this strategy, but I can't deny that it is very effective. Pre-bowing is when you line up your bow to shoot your opponent as your cage drops. This is very effective because you're getting damage on your opponent and giving them knockback, which could be as small as making them stumble a bit or causing them to die off spawn.
Well, now I'm out of my cage. What do I do now?
Shh, I'm getting to that. In bridge, your goal is to get to your opponent's goal, but also stop them from getting to your goal.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of obvious. But how does that help me?
What did I say about interrupting me? So, to best do this, you want to always try to be higher than your opponent. This allows you to jump over your opponent, smack them off the map, or even bypass. Now you have to be careful. With great power comes great responsibility. You want to get as close to your opponent's side as possible before building up. Why? I'll tell you, by explaining what to do if you're on the receiving end. So if your opponent manages to get higher than you, you have a few options. If they ignored my warning from earlier and build up too soon and you're closer to their goal than they are to yours, then you can simply bypass them. Bypassing is where you ignore your opponent and wall run past them. This is performed by jumping off to the side and block clutching, then holding down W and A or W and D depending on which side you are on. Or if they're closer to your goal, build up to the side of them, smack them off, or build up to their level and wait for them to try the bypass and hit them off. When it comes to offense in bridges, you have to watch your opponent and adapt to what they are doing. The simplest way to put it is try to be above your opponent, and if you're closer to their goal than they are to yours, push. You are on offensive now. And if they're closer to your goal, you are now on defense. So I talked about bypassing earlier. Racing is very similar. Racing is when both you and your opponent are trying to get to each other's goal first. You should only race if you're closer to your opponent's goal than they are to yours. Another obvious one, I feel, but gets so underutilized in the casual queues. Voiding is when you jump into the void instantly to get back to your base to defend. This strategy is insane in bridges since there isn't a timer when you die. You instantly respawn. You should void if your opponent gets past you and they're closer to your goal than you are to theirs. If you're closer to their goal, you can ignore them and race to their goal. The final thing I'm going to cover in this video. Hippoing is the official term for placing blocks in front of your goal. Now, I'm not going to an in-depth tutorial on how to hippo on each map. In fact, a much better bridge player has Paris, or Parrot, I'm not really sure how to say her name. I'm going to assume it's Paris. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Has made a really good tutorial on how to hippo on pretty much every map. That will be linked in the description if you're interested. No, instead I'm going to teach you on why and when to do it. Well, the why is to slow down your opponent from getting to your goal, either to defend them or race them. I feel like that was obvious enough though. As for the when, that's the tricky part. Hippos are better utilized on team game modes, 2v2s and up. And, you know, for any team game mode, you pretty much always want a hippo. There really isn't no reason not to. One person works on hippo while the other, or others, push. Then once the defender's done, they can join in on the fun. Anyways, that's all for this video. I hope it helped you out, and see you in the next one.